What is up, my YouTube family? It is Curtis Wayne for Shay Marsh Beat Club, back with another video, another beat making video, Beat Making Fridays. Today, we're going to be discussing a beat that I made titled Dread. I also did a hook for this track as well. And I'm just going to go over what I did to put it together. All right. I'm going to try to be a little bit more detailed in this video, show you guys a little bit more as far as what I did for mixing and cutting the vocal and everything like that. So we just gonna jump right on into it. All right. Once again, got my buddy with me right here on the MPC, so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into this track. We're gonna open it up. Now, I already have this on the vocal tracks, the audio tracks. I use 2 audio tracks. That's it. The MPC has 8 audio tracks. And if I'm not mistaken, the preamps are analog on this thing. So you got a mix of both worlds. You have the analog and digital with this machine, but this machine sounds great. All the tracks that I've been making in this thing, I've been mixing them all in the box. The vocals that I've been putting on the tracks as far as choruses, all in the box, mixing them all in the box. So this is really a great purchase, you know, if you're an MPC guy, or, you know, if you're just looking to try to get into more professional equipment, the MPC is the way to go. So yeah, I'm gonna just show you guys a little bit of what I did to that. So this is the main track. As you can see, that says main. Hopefully you can see that here. So we're gonna go into the effects, the inserts that I put on this track. So we'll start with the compressor. I put a little bit of compression on here. They have a lot of good presets, and sometimes I'll use most times I'll choose a preset and then I'll play around with the settings unless it sounds good to me. On this one, I use the peak grabber. So basically what that does is it's just going to grab those peaks, those pops, those S's, things like that. Kind of works like a de-esser, you know, grab those peaks, keep them tamed, bring them down, you know, give a little bit of reduction on that. And let me go in here. I'll play the full beat at the end. I'll just talk about what I did right now, just so this video is not too long. And then I'll go ahead and play the track at the end. All right. So the next effect. Also with the MPC, you only get 4 inserts per track. That's on the audio tracks, and that's also on your MIDI tracks. So only 4 inserts per sound, which is plenty. You know, that's plenty, man. You don't need any more than that. I mean, if you want more than that, then you use your DAW. You know, your Pro Tools, your FL Studio, your Reason, whatever DAW you use, Studio One, whatever it is you use. But that's plenty, you know, to be able to do what you want to do. So the second insert I use on here is the air channel strip. Basically, that kind of works as a compressor as well. I have it on control, and I don't think I did anything to that. I like the way it sounded on that with that preset, so I left it as is. The next one, I used all 4 inserts on this as well. I used the air maximizer. So basically, maximize, meaning it maximized it. It made it louder. You know, it took that level, the level of the actual audio track that I recorded, and it brought that level up. It maximized it. I used a setting called mastering hard, and I don't think I did anything on that either. I may have played with the threshold a little bit. I'm not too sure, but it sounds really good on that main audio track. Now, for surely I messed around with the EQ. Next and last in the chain is the EQ. I used the setting, the radio setting on here, and I played with the output on there. I also played with the shelf and bell just to get the sound that I wanted on it. I was playing also around with taking out the highs, taking out the high mids, you know, just to get the right sound that I wanted out of it. But I did mess with the output on that. I dropped it way down because I wanted it to sound kind of like the vocal was coming out of a radio. I wanted to give it that effect, but I didn't want to overpower it. It kind of sounded distorted when I had it at a higher level on the output. So I brought the output down to a 1.2 dB, positive 1.2 dB on that. And it sounded really good, to be honest with you, man. Then the second track I did was a set of ad-libs. I basically put the same thing on that track as well. I did a compressor on that with the control as well to bring the control down on that track. I did an air maximizer on it as well too with the mastering hard. I wanted to keep everything balanced and even between the two tracks. I used a reverb on this track. So I went and did a reverb. I put the reverb at medium. And I think I turned the mix down a little bit on that as well. And then I also used an EQ. I did some different settings on the EQ as well. I used a preset called Kill and Boost Low. I turned the highs down, or actually I turned the highs up to a positive 2.2 dB. And I took the low end out. So I just went and killed the low end, and hence the preset, you know, kill the low end on that. I just basically messed around with the highs, turned the gain up on it a little bit, just so it could stand out and it wasn't clashing with the main vocal. And that was all I did for the vocal tracks. Like I said, I just used 2 tracks for the chorus on there. And we'll go back in here to the MIDI tracks. We'll close that. So, all right, we'll start with the loop. So this is the loop right here. I chopped the loop up, and I actually chopped it 16 slices across the pad and only used 4 chops. Only used 4 chops out of the 16 slices. So I also detuned it. As you can see, I dropped it to a -2. And that was basically it. I got this loop. I can't remember exactly where I got the loop from, man. I find loops from different websites, you know, free loops, wherever you can get them from. You know, Splice is really good from what I hear. I haven't used Splice yet, but I will get a Splice account and I'll start using some of those Splice samples and loops as well. But with this loop, like I said, 16 chops across the pads and I only used 4 chops. And I detuned it. I dropped it to a -2 on that loop. Didn't do too much on it. Let's see what we did as far as on the mix. So I just put an EQ on those 4 chops. That's the first chop, my second chop EQ, third chop EQ, and fourth chop EQ. You know, that's basically what I did to that. Just EQ'd out. Let's see what we EQ'd. I can guarantee you I EQ'd the lows out on this thing. Yeah, basically I took all the low end out. And the reason being why I took the low end out is because I didn't want that low end clashing with the kick and the 808. You know, so I wanted to get rid of that low end noise. You don't want to leave too much of that low end noise because it distorts the beat. It'll throw the vocal off. It takes up a lot of energy because it's so massive. So you want to cut some of that noise out of there. And another good thing, a good tip, and something that I'm going to do myself is purchase me a audio, just a 12 channel audio mixing board. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate that into my chain. So instead of running the mic directly into the MP, I can run the mic through the mixer on a channel, run the main outputs of the mixer into the inputs of the MPC, and then that way I could utilize the analog circuitry of that mixer as well. I can cut out some of the lows, I can boost the mids if I want, boost the highs, cut the mids, cut the highs, compress it a little bit just to make the vocal sound a little warmer as it's coming in to the MPC. It already sounds warm just going straight into the MPC, but I want more oomph. I want more thump. I want more bang out of my music. And I just love the analog sound, you know. Like I said, this machine is a hybrid. It's analog and digital. You know, anytime that you can convert a song, you know, to a WAV file or MP3 file, it's pretty much a digital, you know, it has a digital component to it. You know, if it was all 100% analog, then you would be taking that track and then cutting it to tape. or cutting it to an ADAT, you know, for all my people that know about the ADAT tapes, you know. That would be keeping the signal, you know, the signal or the path, signal flow path, all 100% analog. So, but it's nothing wrong with the hybrid stuff. I love it, man. I love, you know, FL Studio. I have FL Studio. I just don't have a computer right now to have all my DAWs and my plugins and stuff set up. But I will get back around to that. Once again, all my equipment is new, man. Fairly new. I just now put all this stuff back together, and I'm back at it 100% grinding. All right, so let's get back to this. So that's what we did. We just EQ'd the lows out of that loop. So basically, this was one of the kits from the MPC, a drum kit. Basically, I just exploded the kit out. It's so that way all the sounds are across the pads. It might be a couple of banks, you know. A lot of times it's, you know, 2 or 3 banks of sounds in there. But that way each channel has its own, or each sound has its own channel, and I can process it the way I want to process it. And whatever sounds that was in this kit, which I think is my hi-hat. Let's see what we have going on. So my snare and my hi-hats. My snare and my hi-hats are out of that that particular kit that I exploded. And I use a bunch of different ones. Like I said before, in this kit, I have another kit where I have my kick, and it's just the kick only. I process that. They have a plug-in in here called the Mother Ducker. Man, this is amazing, bro. It's amazing. It just gets that low end, the kick and that 808. It makes those two mesh together perfectly. Makes you get that nice heavy low end sound. I can't complain, you know, I love it. And so I put the Mother Ducker, of course, on my kick and also on the 808. I actually fed the kick into the 808. So the kick is making the 808 duck. Every time that kick hits, it drops the volume of the 808. So the kick can come through, makes it shine. It's kind of like side chaining. Basically, that's all it is. It's a side chain plug-in. You know, all you have to do is put it on your kick and feed it into your 808. You know, put the input on the kick and put the Mother Ducker plug-in on your 808, and boom, every time that kick hits, it drops the volume of the 808 and allows that kick to come through, which gives you a cleaner low end. Of course, you want to EQ your low end as well too. So man, that's basically it. I just usually like to go over the main aspects of the beat, which is basically your kick, your 808, and your main sound. And if I do any audio, I'll go over that with you guys to let you know. I don't like my videos to be too long. But if you have any questions, you want me to explain something about this MPCX, I'll give you my knowledge on what I've learned from it. I'm not an MPC expert by any means, but if you have a question, go ahead and drop that in the comment section at the bottom of this video, and I'll try to answer it to my best ability. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and leave you guys with a little bit of the audio of this track at the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Once again, it's Curtis Wayne for Shaymosh Beat Club. Make sure you comment, you like, you share my video, and you subscribe. All right, until the next one, I'll holler at you. Shay.